Hey, it's Lindsay from Buy Sell Love Durham. Thanks for checking out my video. And today we're talking about tariffs. That's the big word that seems to be floating around. Now, if you like these videos, they come out every week. They're all content based, and their content is based on my selling real estate, one of the top agents locally for 40 years. So you can rest assured that if you click subscribe and you get the weekly videos, you're getting content that's based on facts, not fiction. So let's just jump into the tariffs. So the tariffs really started to kind of being talked about in around 2016. And then last fall, during the presidential contest, they came up again. And then the threats started to come in January. And then in February, there's a pause. But the pause doesn't mean they're going away. The pause just means that we are on pause. So let's just dig into some of the shifts I've seen over the last 40 years. So in the last 40 years, I've seen values drop. I've seen rates increase. I've seen all kinds of things that really kind of sidelined the market. And it's interesting too, because the reasons why the shifts happened were all different. However, human nature is how people reacted, and people seem to react in a similar way, human nature, to all of the big shifts or whatever's happening big in the world. So that's what the commonalities are, really, is human nature. The shifts are completely different. So if you look at the biggest shift that I've seen, probably from a real estate standpoint, it didn't happen in our country, Canada. It happened in the US, and it was the financial collapse of 2008. Now, what ended up happening, 2008, the collapse happened, but really I could say it was around 2010 to 12 was when the values started to really slip. And in Phoenix actually lost 56% of value in about a year to a year and a half. Now, it would be easier if it was a real estate agent down in Phoenix to say, you know what, the market's crashing, nothing's selling. I'm just going to sit by the pool for a couple of years, wait for it to come back. But the reality was, in 2010, there were 107,000 sales on the Phoenix Realtor Board. So there was a lot of real estate taking place. So even in a shifted market like that, there were people making moves. Some of them were bank sales, but a lot of them were just Bob and Jane Smith deciding, I'm going to move up, move down, or move out. So the other thing too is that if you look at Canada during that time, there was a lot of uncertainties, thinking that maybe our real estate market's going to follow theirs. So we went through a little bit of a lull period as well, and we lost some value, but it kind of snapped back. But the interesting thing was this. In 2010, the average home in Toronto sold for $431,000. Currently, it's selling for $1,061,000. And the Dow Jones was actually, back in 2010, was 11,600. It's now 44,500. So if you look at the long term, there's always something good to look forward to. But if you focus on the short term, it's really painful. So I've got some ideas on how to manage stress during shifted markets and kind of painful situations like we're in right now. Number one is be selective where you're gathering your information. So if you are looking at news online or news media, make sure it's a trusted source, because there's a lot of misinformation and there's a lot of things out there that just stir the pot rather than provide factual information. Number two is this: don't engage. If you see somebody posting something crazy, just don't engage, because it's like a vortex that sucks you in and you get sucked into that crazy negativity, and it's really hard to escape once you're in it. Number three is this: if one of your family or friends uses the word heavy or overwhelmed, do what you can to support them, because we're all in this together. And if we can support the people that we care for and that we love, it really, really helps them in their situation. And the last one is this: it's something I learned in my first few years in real estate, is worry about things you have control over. We have no control over what's going on, other than the fact that we can control how we deal with the information coming our way. I'm a big believer in long-term real estate. If someone's looking to buy and flip, they're at risk at any market. If someone's looking to buy a property and hold it for 5 to 10 years, the market always takes care of it. If you've got any questions, I can be reached at any of my social media platforms. If you do find yourself in a situation where you have to sell, I'd be more than happy to get you top dollar in today's value market. If you got any questions, just reach out to me. See you next week.